The Prom is a wonderful Broadway show about two lesbians who just want to go to high school prom together until four selfish Broadway actors inject themselves selfishly into the situation to prove that they are not selfish. They don't really help until things go extra bad, and then they go, wait a second, it's not about me, it's about Emma. And then they refocus themselves on actually making a difference in that kid's life, and everything's wonderful, and the kids are our future and whatever. Unfortunately, this is a movie review and not a play review, so let's talk about Ryan Murphy's Prom starring Meryl Streep and James Corden, which I believe is the entire title. Ryan Murphy's The Prom has a key difference from the show, which is that Emma and Alyssa are no longer the main characters because we have James Corden and Meryl Streep. Of course they should be the main characters. Emma and Alyssa's story is pared down to make way for Meryl Streep and James Corden to have more screen time to be like, aren't our characters so sympathetic? Don't you like us? Haven't we learned a good lesson? We're the main character. And in doing so has sacrificed a lot of the emotional weight of the actual story. It's almost like they didn't care about the Emma and Alyssa part. I Just Want to Dance With You is what they want. They just want to go to prom together. They don't want it to be a big deal. They say so.
I don't need a big production. I don't want to be a symbol.
Is that so, Emma? Then why are you smiling? Why are you so excited about Dee Allen being here? Emma smiles through nearly the entire movie. Being bullied by everyone in your high school? Why are you smiling? You're breaking up with your girlfriend? Why are you smiling? She even smiles when she's doing the backstroke while singing in the pool. Why did they make her do that? And Alyssa, Ariana DeBose? No complaints, I think you did a good job. Oh, now you're angry about it? Oh, now you're back to smiling about it. The entire movie never shows that what the actors are doing is invasive, because Emma is excited about it from the get-go.
We're not narcissists.
Just to be clear, it's not because of you.
Well, maybe it was.
It's too hot. Please forgive me. Why are you so excited? Is it because Meryl Streep is here? Yeah, we're all excited. This cameraman's so excited that I think he passed out. Boss, there was this little tilt in this one camera move. The camera person got so excited about seeing Meryl Streep that they passed out and we lost the entire day of shooting. Oh man. Okay, well, do you want me to keep it in a little bit longer so that they know that it was on purpose? No. We can't cut that out. This is hilarious. You're the boss. At the end of Act 1, Emma feels betrayed by Alyssa, and for some reason they decided to slow the pacing of this down to an absolute crawl. In the stage production, they successfully do a split screen. And why don't they do a split screen in the movie? Make it like this? Because filmmakers are cowards and are afraid to do anything stylized. But what's a better place to do something stylized than in a musical movie? Because it's already made for the stage. When you make it, you don't want to play it straight. Because if you play it straight, you miss out on the jokes, and then you get something like this where you go, I don't want to see this. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is a good musical movie because they just made it a stage. It's perfect. Now that we got the lesbians out of the way, let's look at the main characters of this story about two lesbians who want to go to a high school prom. Meryl Streep in this role is pretty close to perfect casting outside of getting the original Dee Allen. Because, she's old, she's famous, everybody loves her, and when she says that she has to do something in order to make the public like her, wait, no, that's Dee Allen. How is the battery almost dead? It said it had a full charge. I abandoned the costume because I'm too hot. Hot damn. Meryl Streep as Dee Allen is almost too perfect of casting because I can imagine that these characters and the actor are kind of similar, and I can see Dee Allen being like, well, I don't want to come off too badly in this movie all about me. It's not all about me. Could we maybe add in like several scenes where it is all about me? James Corden, on the other hand, does not have that problem. James Corden plays a flamboyant gay man, and James Corden is not a flamboyant gay man. He's James Corden. So when he has this emotional 15-minute added-in scene, you don't really feel it because you're too busy going, that's James Corden. James Corden doesn't know what he's talking about. I feel like that's just his role all the time, is that if you see him, you go, that's James Corden. What is James Corden doing here? I don't want James Corden here. This is my second viewing, and sometimes I just block James Corden out of my view subconsciously. I started paying attention to the extras in the background and being like, hey, what's that person's story? Were they supposed to wave? We grind the plot to a halt so that we can develop these two characters who aren't even the main characters. And by making them the main characters, you ruin the movie. Oh! We learn that Dee Allen still loves her ex-husband and cares about him still, which is maybe a line and a half in the original show. And we learn that James Corden's parents didn't accept him, so he left and hasn't talked to them since, which is maybe 2 lines in the original show. Punchy, poignant lines, but we spend so long on it. We stay in this motel room. A motel room, they couldn't even find a better place to do it. Honestly, this scene slows things down so much. It kind of reminds me of that scene from Crimes of Grindelwald, where we spend like 20 minutes explaining 2 characters and how their backstories don't matter and then they die. Whoa! Who writes this? Meanwhile, we're pausing the Andrew Reynolds show-stopping number, the only reason that I would even bother recommending any part of this movie for Love Thy Neighbor, because he steals the show, he almost saves the show with this one number, but they sabotage it. With really terrible editing, and the fact that they definitely filmed on 2 different days, and one day they used natural light, and one day they didn't. And you might be like, oh, but we needed the God rays, so we did a different day. But if you needed the God rays for some specific shots, you shouldn't have been intercutting between these 2 days, because it's so obvious. I think editing, lighting, and cinematography needs to be pretty egregious before I comment on it. Most of the time, I'm along for the ride. But when you have a cut like this, that's amateur hour! You shouldn't have to stop the entire movie to explain something. It should be small, poignant lines that we infer the meaning from. But they did have to exposit James Corden's line because for some reason they add in his mom at the end, which takes away a lot from the end of the movie. In the original show, he gets to say to Alyssa's mom, hey, don't turn away from her right now because I've been on the other end of that, and you're going to lose her if you do. But he can't say that anymore because his mom is right there, so it's more like, hey, if you turn away now, in 40 years it'll all work out. It'll be great. So don't even worry about it. And then by doing that in the middle of the second act, it kind of makes the final bit where Alyssa's mom does come around, like, lack its punch. Because it's like, yeah, didn't we just have this? Didn't we just have a different mom accept their child? Why are we doing it again? Didn't we already make this point? And you're telling me that this woman wearing that does not accept that her child is a lesbian? You just had something like that laying around in your closet? The stupidest thing is that during Emma's big climactic song, this is an important emotional scene. And here we are on a race car bed. Why is the bed spinning? Nothing has done... They're like flashbacks to be like, oh, this is like this, or this is what this character is thinking about. But this is just a bed with a mind of its own, like a ghost. A spinning race car bed might be a good idea somewhere, but definitely not during an emotional climactic song. Hey everybody, this next song means a lot to me. That's why I decided to have the Windows 95 screensavers going on in the background. Maybe I'm being too picky about this movie because I've had the chance to watch the stage version. Of course it had this written across it the entire time. This entire movie is just worse than it should have been. You get these big named actors in order to draw in people to watch it, but then you sacrifice the story for it. You sacrifice the story and songs for it in a musical, and you add in 15 minutes of 2 characters talking in a motel room. And what do we sacrifice? We sacrifice the Everyone is a Lesbian t-shirts. We sacrifice like half of the love songs. We sacrifice half of the choreography. How do I talk about the choreography? In the original play, the choreography is some of the strongest that I've ever seen, and the person filming does not know how to film choreography, because the amount that they're just moving around, making the camera way too complicated when the actors, the performers, the dancers are doing the interesting part. If you just had it stand still and do a little dance move, that's great. You don't have to be moving around on a drone to show me that these people are dancing. I just want to see they're dancing. No, you don't have to turn around to show me how they feel about it. I just
want to watch the dancing.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about this door that leads to nowhere that they cut away from without even making an opening sound effect or a closing sound effect. There was nothing behind. Or maybe the doors don't even work. They're not even real doors. Amazing. They shifted the focus from the actual story of Emma and Alyssa trying to go to prom together and moved it fully onto the actors, whose B-plot is literally learning that they are not the main characters of this story. Instead, they made them the main characters and gave Meryl Streep and James Corden their own little mini arcs in it that take forefront over Emma and Alyssa's story. That's messed up. Especially when you cut out songs and jokes and make it so much worse than it should be because the prom is good. The Prom is a good story. You shouldn't watch Ryan Murphy's version of it. If you can, and I promise that there's a way, you should try to see the stage version. Overall, I give this a musical adaptation of a musical out of musical. But hey, it's probably better than Cats. Cut up all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. But they had to change James, I almost said James A. Caster. They had to James change two lesbians wanting to go to high school prom. Let me figure out what I'm trying to say, but I gotta say it once through just to get it out.